Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Connect Conversations. Hope you all are doing well. Today, we have with us someone who is passionate about impacting and transforming lives. She helps people realize their potential, tap into their inner world, and have better relationships in order to become their best versions. She especially works closely with women struggling to listen to their inner voice and hesitating in taking initial steps towards discovering who they really are and help them curb their self limiting beliefs. An MBA MS from Central Michigan University, USA. She has worked with various multinationals like Wendy's, The Limited, American Red Cross, Safe Flight Autoglass as an HR associate. Relocating to India in the year 2017 after 15 years stint in the US and Middle Eastern world, she got internationally certified as Associated Certified Coach by International Coaching Federation and turned her career direction into to pursue the field of helping others. A life transformation expert, relationship coach, speaker, mentor, trainer, and law of attraction expert, she's creating a transformational shift for people from where they are and where they want to reach. A very warm welcome to Ms. Preeti Khare, State President for Women's Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Coaching Council, Madhya Pradesh chapter. Hello, ma'am. Welcome to MP Connect, and thank you for being a part of Connect Conversations.
Thank you so much, Antra, for having me on your show. It is wonderful and pleasure to be a part.
Thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, like I just recently mentioned in your introduction, that you shifted to India from USA. So, our viewers will be very, very keen to know that how was your professional journey in USA, and how did you align with it when you finally shifted to Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh? So, how did you align with it, and most importantly, how has the experience been here so far?
Hmm. Very, very interesting question. And it definitely cannot be answered in one line, Antara. So I will take your liberty to kind of just
Right.
take you through this. So I, for the most part of my life, I think I have worked in the HR area, in the
Okay.
HR space, and in the US also. So I did my MBA back here in India, and that was in the human resources. And then I could not get a chance to work when I went to the US for the first time because of the visa conditions and various other things. And then I kept on upgrading myself in various other fields, and then finally started working in the HR space in the US for the companies that you mentioned just now. But after I did my MS again from Central
Okay.
Michigan. Yeah, that was in 2016, and then worked there for some time, and then relocated to India. Pretty much, working in the HR space, and then took up a freelancer's job here in Bhopal because we came directly to Bhopal, and started finding some job which is can give me a work-life balance kind of a thing, because my kids also moved, and they were in an age, in a situation where they had not experienced India much. So
Right.
yes, I worked in the HR space, and then within a year's time, I shifted gears big time, Antara, and that was in the personal development side. So I
Right.
started working a lot towards my own development, and also understood that you know at the end of the day, it is all about happiness. It is all about if you can find a meaning and a purpose for your life. And it is it has been HR for some time, but would it be HR for the rest of my life? Would I be happy doing what I'm doing? So when this question, I never got a positive yes. And there
Okay.
was surely, something missing. And that's how coaching just came to me. And I found this space very, very satisfying,
Okay.
very
Okay.
enriching, and really, impacting people's lives by first actually getting some transformation done on yourself.
Okay, okay, wonderful, ma'am. So, ma'am, like I just mentioned, that you are ICF, ACC certified coach, especially in the field of life transformation and relationship. So, first of all, ma'am, congratulations to you. And also, ma'am, on the second thought, this field, if I talk about this field specifically, coaching and everything, it is not a very conventional profession even today. If you have to ask someone, like, if they want to pursue it as a profession, so it's not a
Yeah.
very conventional field. So, like you told us right now, that something was missing, something was lacking, and that kind of generated interest in that field. So was it just that, or also there was some kind of incident or some kind of eureka moment that happened with you that led to this career decision?
Yeah. So as I told you that when I came back, the first question for me, which has always been very important, my family has been a very integral part of my taking decisions. What do I want to do really? So career has been something that I always wanted to pursue, but not ever at the cost of the family. That I was very clear since the time I think I had my kids. I was like, okay, I know I have to go a certain path, and I'm not going to sit idle. But can I do something which can actually be a justice to having that work life balance kind of a thing.
Right.
So when I moved here, I was looking for jobs that could be giving me that flexibility of a 7 to 4 kind of a thing, or something that I always negotiated when I was in the US or in the Middle East, which was like, I negotiated that with the employers, and somehow it worked for me. That I said, whatever you want me to do in 8 hours, I'm more than happy to do. And they always understood. And I think the Western world is pretty open about that. So here, when I came, anything that I was looking for always came to me as, if you have to be in HR, it has to be 9 to 6, 9 to 7. And I was, through my own experiences, good and not so good. So you are back home, you get to meet your family, you get to meet them often, but that is not something that actually satisfies you on a day-to-day basis when you're also thinking about some career for yourself.
Right.
So I think that was one thing, that when I was working in a freelancing role or as an advisor in one of the companies here in Bhopal,
Okay.
I found out that it's getting a little demanding now, more than 5 hours and all of that, and I just, one day it was like, okay, I want to call it quits, because what is the meaning that my life has, or what is the purpose that I'm here for, was also a question which was brewing for some time, when I was in the US, also in Dubai also, but it wasn't to a point, because I think the environment and the infrastructure satisfied me to some extent.
Right.
But here, when I came back, it was that thing became very strong for me, and I had to take a call that until and unless I leave and drop it, what I'm doing currently, I will not be able to figure out what do I want of my life. And I think that was one moment when I really, without deciding what is that I'm going to do in life. And it's a big decision, Antara. And I mean, anybody who's listening to me, I would like to tell that it happens a lot that we remain in the same, there is this inertia that sets in, right? We are in something and we fear that what is the next that's going to come, and if there is nothing, how can I leave?
Right.
There'll be lack of money, this, that. But until and unless we are prepared to take that decision, that okay, this is the moment, until I take this decision, probably I'll not be able to put myself 100% in the sync with what actually I want to do. I want to figure it out, right? And that's when I dropped this HR job and then started looking for something which is more aligned to what suits me, goes with my personality. So I think when I sat back, after giving up the job, when I was reflecting, what are my strengths? What is that I want to do? And this is purely coincidentally coaching, what we do typically now, right?
Right.
So when I reflected all of that, I really found that let me use my strengths and do something which kind of really makes some sense in the world, right? And then I came into coaching, which is about impacting life, which is about transformation. So as I said earlier also, you cannot coach or you cannot transform others until unless you've gone through that journey yourself. So I think that was the moment when I was undergoing my own journey, Antara,
Okay.
transforming, really got into mindfulness, into books which were more on the personal development side, more into meditation practices, and had a very disciplined routine for myself, which kind of
Right.
was, it gave me a lot of confidence that things are possible. You can change people, you can change relationships, you can change things around you. And when I
Right.
did it, I got that confidence myself that yes, it is possible with everybody. And I'm here with a live example that I have done to myself, and why not others can do it. And that's
Right.
when I thought that this is the time that I should go for a formal certification in this area,
Okay.
which kind of gives other people also and myself that credibility that people look for, and also get trained in a very professional way. That's what I
Right.
did, and it is, I think ICF is the highest body right now in terms of coaching industry, and I
Right.
thought this is the one that I would like to go through. And
Right.
it's quite an intense training program that we go through, and it's just been amazing after that. It's
Wow.
been coaching, it's been just mentoring people, so very, very satisfying journey.
Right. Wonderful, ma'am. Wonderful. So, ma'am, like I mentioned in the introduction itself, WICCI, which is the Women Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, have recently launched their coaching council, for which you are the state president for the Madhya Pradesh chapter. So, ma'am, we would like to know more about WICCI and the kind of work that they do, and also what is the role of coaching council that comes under the purview of WICCI? How does it work? If you can throw some light on it and tell our viewers about it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I think this is a good platform, Antara, right now to kind of, sorry, let viewers also know about what coaching actually is, because the lot of challenge that we are facing, and currently what WICCI, which is Women Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Coaching Council for WICCI, what we are doing is we are actually creating the awareness of coaching, and also making coaching accessible to one and all. So first of
Right.
all, when I say creating that awareness, why it becomes important aspect for Wiki Coaching Council is also because when I came to Madhya Pradesh, and it was also for me the first time moving to a place like this, which is like a beautiful city in its own way, but a two-tier city where people are,
Right.
comparatively, things come little later. So now coaching is a very, very Western concept. It
Right.
is, people go for coaching for their personal issues, they go for coaching for their careers, they go for coaching for not having clarity in their life, for not having confidence, various issues. But India, so far, people still struggle to come out when we have to
Right.
talk on these topics.
Right.
There is still a taboo attached to them. There is still, okay, if this is so personal to me, it is between me and my husband, me and my child, me and my employer, and they want to, you have a cover over it, a veil over it, that I don't want to talk much about it. But what happens typically is that a lot of things go under the cover, and it kind of hold people back from really performing to their fullest potential. So what coaching does is, coaching first of all is a, you can call it an art, it's a science, whatever you may like to call it, because I call it both. It has the art side of it, and it has a very logical science to it. When we talk about linguistic programming, it's all about neurons training your mind in a certain way. So a lot of physiology is also a way of explaining coaching. So now what coaching is different from other disciplines which we sort of confuse uh, with counseling or mentoring
Right.
sometimes, right? So now counseling is a very different discipline, and we know, and that when you talk to a child or to anybody, an adult, that you have to, let's go to the counselor. People don't take it very healthily until and unless it's something related to career. That's the only thing that they are open to discuss with a counselor.
Right.
Here comes the huge and a big difference. What How coaching and counseling are different. So people, as I said, refrain from going to a counselor because counseling is something which kind of, it is on the premise of digging into the past and
Mm-hmm.
getting to know what happened and then fixing that first and then talking about the present. While
Hmm.
coaching doesn't work that way.
Right.
Coaching is more about your current reality. So, wherever you are now is what is important to us as a coach. And where you want to go is the next best thing that you can do for yourself. And that's where the coach helps you. right?
Right.
So it is about you starting now and then where you want to go. So it is more futuristic approach as opposed to, the digging into the past. Second thing
Right.
is counseling is more about advising,
Hmm.
right? It's more about it's a very prescriptive science. Coaching is not. We in the coaching session do not prescribe or tell you anything what you are supposed to do. It is a questioning technique, a very powerful technique where we use questions to get your answers, come on the surface, and you kind of answer to your own questions or dilemmas or issues or goals, right? So, number three is that for counseling or any psychiatry or any therapy, you need to go to, you need to have an issue, right? Necessarily that there is a condition or an issue. But for coaching, you don't have to have an issue. You can
Right.
simply have a dream. You can simply have a goal to kind of just come to a coach and say, I thought about something and I really do not know how to go about it. How
Hmm.
to, I am a housewife, for example, and I do not know which route to go to start my own business, how to do that. So we have different types of coaches in our council,
Okay.
business coaches, transformational coaches, leadership coaches, relationship coaches, all those kind of clarity coaches, wellness coaches. So different types of coaches in the Wiki
Okay.
MP Coaching Council itself.
Okay.
And what the coaching council does is that we are currently reaching out to the institutions and to
Mm-hmm.
various corporates to first of all create that awareness wherein we
Right.
explain what coaching is, because अभी तक अंतरा ये बहुत होता है कि coaching की जब भी बात होगी, people actually ask me a question कि you're talking about physics chemistry वाला coaching, or are you talking about that swim वाले जो life coaches होते हैं जो बचाते हैं, and I have different answers for them. But this is what I mean we are doing currently,
Right.
MPs, that going to different institutes and organizations and doing those orientations on coaching where we
Right.
explain what coaching is and how it can be helpful to individuals, right? And why we are starting from the institutions is a very big question, and people do ask me a couple of times that instead of going to women entrepreneurs or starting from there, because WICCI does stand for Women Indian
Women.
Chamber of
Right.
Commerce and Industry, why not just women entrepreneurs? So sure, we are catering, we will cater to women because it is a NGO which kind of works for women empowerment. But from the standpoint of coaching, I do not
Mm-hmm.
really want to discriminate between men and women, boys or girls, when it comes to coaching. Because I
Right.
think and I totally believe, having been through this journey, that how coaching can be so impactful.
Right.
It can really change if you take these coaching sessions seriously. They can change lives. They can
Mm.
change the entire paradigm is shifted. If you kind of go through a coaching session, you would be surprised that having all those answers myself, I couldn't really, when these questions arose for myself, I couldn't answer. But when you are with a coach, the coaching conversation is steered in a
Mm-hmm.
manner that you will get your answers in that coaching conversation, and that's what coaching is all about.
Okay.
So
Right.
yeah, so and why I wanted to really tell you the differences, because people
Right.
do call sometimes, they'll be like, okay, aap counseling karengi kya? But
Mm-hmm.
I have to make them understand that I am not a counselor, and I respect the counselors for what they do. But coaches or coaching is a very different field, wherein it is more of exploration and self discovery, not about prescribing or
Right.
fixing an issue. Yeah,
Right.
so that is
Right.
the main thing that I would like to communicate to anybody who's listening to us.
I think, ma'am, you guys are doing a wonderful job because I know how, like, I myself have become aware about the coaching concept right now while interacting with you, discussing with you. So it's really heartening to know that such organizations and such initiatives are coming up for people to look to
Yeah,
seek help with. So,
yeah.
ma'am, so like talking, like continuing our conversation in that manner, coaching is like in the field of coaching, what is the kind of problems that you come across most frequently? What is their nature? And would you like to narrate any kind of incident, without, of course, naming the individuals involved, wherein you got success, or, it was, you could transform that person around?
Yes.
So, and
Yes.
how has been the council's success rate in handling such cases,
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
can talk
Wonderful
about that.
question. Wonderful question, Antara. I would absolutely like to answer this one. So, Wiki Coaching Council, I mean, it fell in my lap, or somebody nominated me. If I had to tell you that, when they saw me, my journey, heard about my journey, they were like, okay, why don't you take it up in
Mm-hmm.
the MP state, and I was little nervous in the beginning, Antara, because it is not just one person who is going to be working.
Yeah.
As I told you, you had to set up the entire council, and it is about, in a council we are almost about 22 women who
Okay.
are, when we call ourselves accountants. So it was, for me, being new in MP, it was already a challenge to find, coaches, being because this is Wiki MP Coaching Council, right? And
Right.
Wiki, under Wiki you have various councils, but what I am heading is the coaching council. So
Okay.
now I was like, okay, I know I am a coach. I have a couple of other friends, but they're not from MP. Where do I really look for coaches? It was a lot of hard work that I had to actually undergo and find, LinkedIn, this, that, find those coaches and then build this council. So now we are a council with, amazing members and people and coaches from different fields, as I told you, wellness,
Right.
transformation, relationship. So what we are doing is, as I told you, that we started with the institutions, and we do an orientation, and then we provide pro bono coaching sessions to the
Okay.
students and to the faculty. And as I said, that why I'm keen on the institutions is because I think the future of the country can be, you know made into a wonderful one if we focus on the youth. That's what I believe totally. And what I was also noticing, Antara, in various countries that I have traveled, that coaching was accessible to the corporates, to
Right.
the people who are in leadership roles. Now, those people definitely need coaching to kind of move ahead in the game. What
Mm-hmm.
what about the people who really, so when you have reached a certain position and you're trying to course correct your beliefs, your values, your strengths, and all of that, right? So I
Right.
thought, why not we make coaching accessible much early on in life? Because during the COVID, I saw that lot of the youth is totally confused. And I
Mm-hmm.
happened to do a wonderful project with a university in India, a big university in India, and I was on empaneled as a coach there. And that's when it was a big, and by then I wasn't a Wiki member or a president for that,
Okay.
but I took up that project and I immediately figured it out that this is the place that needs a lot of coaching. This is the sector which needs a lot of coaching. And if we kind of coach the students and the faculty, once coached, they become more settled, more calmer, more transformed. So what they bring to the class and to the room, to the students, is going to have a tremendous impact on
Right.
the students, number one.
Right.
Number two is, if we coach the students who reach and they are in the molding stage, still trying to figure out what the world is going to look like, there is a lot of confusion at their part, and they really do not know in this uncertain times what are they up to. कोई जॉब होगा कि नहीं होगा, होगा तो कैसा होगा, peers के साथ कैसे करना है, क्या करना है. So some of the skills are taught in the
Right.
MBA, but actually lot of the practical skills. How do you want to be as a person? How do
Mm.
you want to be in a certain situation? How do you choose to react, in a certain situation, which comes from a lot of emotional intelligence and positive psychology and all of those subjects, which is not a part of, unfortunately, in our education system right now. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what also that I'm working towards, that in some way, if we can have these subjects also become a part of your normal MBA and MSA and engineering and whatnot, kids will be far more um, settled, far more calmer within themselves first.
Right.
So that's where I figured out that this is one area that needs a lot of coaching. To answer to that part of yours, that what were the reactions? So in that place, when I was actually coaching, and the first student that I coached, a brilliant student, and I would not like to name that, I wish I could, but I coached that person, and it was more on really not knowing
Mm-hmm.
about what he really wants in life. He was in an MBA program, but he did
Okay.
not know what he exactly wants in his life. Which are the companies he wants to work for? What is
Mm-hmm.
that he wants to really, or is there a 4 year or a 5 year or a 3 year vision? No, there isn't any. I'm just working on a day-to-day basis, and once I clear it, I'll figure it out. Whatever I get, so there wasn't any vision. I think with the coaching sessions that we did under that program, the students got clarity, confidence, courage, understanding about themselves, all of that. So one of the students, which I told you, he was my first student, and then I got multiple, things to hear from a lot of other students. But that person, after his first session, wrote to me a separate email and said, "Ma'am, this was a life changing session for me." So this is one of the examples. The other example, because I am in the relationship area and I work with a lot of couples. I work with individuals, from the couples, and I've also worked with couples together. So coaching one person at one time and the other person at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, and it is much faster because if two of them are in the coaching journey, then the things resolve faster. And when I was getting into this, uh, one of the beautiful impact, if I may call it, was that some person who was like in their 25 27 years of marriage, and had almost sort of a very very tough years when it comes to relationships with the spouse as well as with the child. But after the coaching sessions that they underwent, they actually had to say, "Preeti, you saved our house. You saved my child. You saved us from, just they were on the verge of thinking about separating and all of that." So I think coaching is very powerful, Antara. And
Right.
if people take it sincerely, and we usually have coaching sessions at the gap of, say, 10 days. Each session we do not have before 10 days. Ideally, if it is there a pressing issue, we do have it in a week's time also. But हम लोग normally 10 दिन का gap रखते हैं, so that
Okay.
whatever has come out in the first session,
Mm-hmm.
the person implements it, so that we
Right.
see that sustained change. Because coaching is not about, as I told you, about fixing an issue. That
Mm.
is not my job as a coach. My
Mm.
job is, and my focus is the person that I'm coaching. If that
Right.
person can develop, that's where, it's a aha moment for me, that okay, there is a difference. I really created that impact, and that person worked hard towards creating that impact.
Right.
So
Right.
that's
So,
what it is.
wow, ma'am, very inspiring. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So, ma'am, before we leave you, like in the end, just before we leave you, is there some kind of advice that you would love to give to our youth, especially our state or our country at large, those who are seeking career in a very unconventional field? And also, if you would
Hmm.
love if you have any kind of mantra that that you can share with the women professionals and entrepreneurs on how to handle the work life balance.
Yeah,
So
yeah. So there are two questions that you asked me, Antara, in this question. One is the message for the youth,
yes.
and for the people who young. They can be students or entrepreneurs or startups. So we are also, as I told you, we're working with institutions. We're also working with BNest, the smart city. There is an incubation center,
Okay.
and there are
Okay.
about 58 incubatees that we have actually signed an MOU
Oh
with.
wow.
So that's what
Wonderful.
also WICCI MP is doing. And yeah, so the message for the youth is, Antara, that let's not just focus on, I am doing my MCA, I'm doing my MBA, I'm doing, so not just for getting the degrees,
Hmm.
you know, in your toolbox. Not
Right.
that, not just the degrees or the certificates. It is more about gaining those practical skills,
Hmm.
gaining the doing things like, as I just mentioned, maybe talking about doing some courses under emotional intelligence, which can develop you as a person. Because ultimately we talk about our careers, our everything is pretty much aligned to what is that we all are seeking at the end of the day. It is the happiness, right?
Mm.
Happiness comes from the relationships. Happiness comes from your career, your money. All of that is going to fall in place if you have the right attitude in life. And
Right.
that will come if you will not just follow this path. Okay, this degree, this certificate, have some tools in your toolbox which are other than your regular this thing. Do something in emotional intelligence, read those books, get certain skills. And learning is the key, is one thing that I want to tell the youth. Because now it's not me, but COVID has taught all of us, right,
Right.
that life can take such a turn in 1 minute. Life can be, we can be on the other side, receiving side, right? Then if
Definitely.
we are not equipped enough, if we have not learned enough. So for the youth, if those 4 years that you come for your undergrad program or your graduate program, or whatever, engineering, whatever you are doing, if you kind of come for the heck of just coming and studying there to get a degree, I think that is where it could be the biggest mistake and a challenge for us. But if you have taken those years, that these are the years where I can, the infrastructure that I'm getting, the university infrastructure, the college, the infrastructure, and the resources, the teachers, the peers, if you can learn and keep learning things that can be different from your mainstream, which is okay,
Right.
MBA kare to aur kya kar rahe hain?
Mm.
And you people are multitaskers, Antra. Now people are
Mm.
fast and multitaskers. So keep assimilating those skills, keep learning something other than also. So build your toolkit in a manner that later, no matter what turn life takes, you have other things to do. Maybe content writing, maybe photography,
Mm.
maybe, music, dance, art. I don't know. But something that you can also be, be able to say that, okay, I'm not just good in one thing, or I can only do this, but I can actually think differently. So do, as I said, coach, emotional intelligence, sports psychology, they open your mind up, they make you become a better person. That is also a very, very important part, because ultimately you will move into the real world where you will have to tackle all of those things.
Right.
Inside of the house, you will have to tackle with all of those things. So maybe keep adding those tools, different tools. That's one message for the youth. For the women entrepreneurs and women homemakers, the other message would be that you're not alone. Now that we are here in MP and WICCI Coaching Council is here. So do not feel stuck. Do not just sit with your dreams. If you have a dream, if you have ever dreamt of something, if you have a goal, you have kids, you took a career break or something, do not feel that that is the end of the life. Come forward, reach out to the coaches. They will start to handhold you from wherever you want to start from. And, without judgment, without any, seeing you in a different light, because that's where we are for. That's why we are there for. So reach out to the coaching council, reach out to coaches. And Antra, I mean, I would highly appreciate whenever you post this video. There is mp.wiki@gmail.com,
Right.
where everybody, every woman can write to us, every person can write to us, and we will be able to, once we have a talk with you, we will be able to map you with the right kind of coach. And that coach is going to take you, whether it is your personal problem or a professional problem, or, you just want to start something, or you have a dream and you just want to talk about it. You can do any of that. Get clarity, get that confidence, come out of those limiting beliefs. Do not hold yourself back. So for women, I think the important message is that so far, if you have been dreaming, maybe it's the time to realize it.
Wonderful, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time and sharing all your rich experiences with us. It was a very enriching conversation that we had. And like you just mentioned, I would like to tell all our viewers. I mean, it is such a heartening thing to know that such an organization and such initiatives are coming up in Madhya Pradesh to help you to build your life, to transform it. So definitely reach out to ma'am. She has given her email ID as well. Also, if you have any sort of question or query for Mrs. Khare, you can also drop a message on any of our social media handles, on her email, and on our email ID, which is info@mpconnect.com. We will surely get back to you with her answers. And thank you for joining us. We will see you in our next conversation. And thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much, Antra. People and viewers can also reach us. Or we have social media handles, WICCI MP Coaching Council on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Insta. So you can write to us and reach out to us through any of that. And like Antra said, MP Connect is one place where you can write, and we are connected, we collaborate. So that's one place you can reach out. And do not hold yourself. Please reach.